In the vast, wind-swept deserts of the Silk Road, a film was made that dared to imagine a different kind of empire. Not one built on conquest, but on the fragile human art of translation, of language, of custom, of trust. Daniel Lee's 2015 epic Dragon Blade is a curious artifact. On its surface, a big-budget historical action film starring Jackie Chan, John Cusack, and Adrien Brody. But beneath the spectacle of clashing legions lies a deeply earnest, almost naive argument for cosmopolitanism, set against the brutal machinery of Rome's farthest reach. The production itself was a monumental act of translation. Filmed in the harsh, beautiful landscapes of China's Gansu province, the set for the Silk Road fortress city of Wild Geese Gate was constructed from scratch. It wasn't just a backdrop, it was the film's central metaphor, made physical, a ramshackle, multicultural trading post clinging to existence in the dunes. Director Daniel Lee, known for stylized wuxia films like Black Mask and Three Kingdoms, Resurrection of the Dragon aimed for something grander here. He sought to create a Pan-Asian epic with global appeal, securing an unprecedented co-production deal and a $65 million budget, one of the largest for a Chinese film at the time. The casting of Cusack and Brody wasn't mere star power window dressing, it was integral to the film's thesis of East-West dialogue both on and off screen. The narrative hinges on a fictional meeting. Jackie Chan's Hao-on, the disgraced but noble commander of the Silk Road Protection Squad, encounters John Cusack's Lucius, a Roman general fleeing with his legion and his blind consul, played by Adrien Brody's tyrannical Tiberius. This encounter is the film's core dramatic engine. Huo-An's philosophy is simple, embodied in the film's repeated mantra: protect the Silk Road, protect peace. His squad is a microcosm of the Silk Road itself, a mix of Chinese, Persian, and other ethnicities, communicating in a pidgin united by trade and mutual survival. Their peace is maintained not by overwhelming force, but by negotiation, by understanding the customs of passing caravans, by being translators in the broadest sense. Lucius and his lost Roman legion represent a different paradigm: order through discipline, hierarchy, and military engineering. The film's most compelling sequences aren't its large-scale battles, but the quiet moments of cultural exchange. We see Romans teaching Huan's men superior siegecraft and formation tactics, while the locals share knowledge of the desert and its resources. It's a tentative, hopeful blueprint for synthesis. This hopeful synthesis is violently opposed by Adrien Brody's Tiberius. Brody plays him not as a cartoon villain, but with a chilling intellectual malevolence. Tiberius believes in the purity of Roman power and its divine right to subjugate. To him, the hybrid, messy community of Wild Geese Gate is an abomination, a weakness to be cleansed by the pristine violence of the Legion. The central thematic conflict, then, is between Tiberius's ideology of imperial purity and Huo-An's practice of pragmatic multiculturalism. The film asks, can different systems coexist through mutual benefit, or is conflict between expanding empires inevitable? Dragon Blade argues, perhaps idealistically, for the former. Its most poignant image is the combined Roman and Silk Road forces building a massive aqueduct together, a literal channel for life, constructed through shared labor. This idealism is visually coded. Cinematographer Moon Young-hwan contrasts two palettes. The world of Huan and the Silk Road is bathed in warm, earthy tones, ochres, browns, and the brilliant blues of the desert sky. The Roman world, especially under Tiberius, is colder, steely grays, harsh whites, and the blood red of their standards. The clash is as much a clash of color and light as it is of swords. The film's flaws are evident. The pacing is uneven, lurching from intimate drama to CGI-heavy spectacle. Some dialogue, particularly in the English exchanges, feels stilted, a casualty of its translational ambitions. The final act succumbs to conventional battle epic tropes, somewhat undermining its more nuanced, earlier setup. Yet, to dismiss it for these flaws is to miss its significance. Dragon Blade arrived at a specific moment in Chinese cinema, a period of looking outward, of attempting to craft stories that could resonate globally while asserting a distinctly Chinese perspective on history. It's a film about the Silk Road, released as China was launching its modern Belt and Road initiative, making its themes feel both ancient and curiously contemporary. Jackie Chan's performance is key. He plays Huo-An not as an invincible superhero, but as a weary, compassionate administrator. His prowess is in diplomacy first, martial arts second. This aligns with the film's ethos. The famous Dragon Blade formation, a whirlwind of shields and swords, is ultimately presented not as a weapon of conquest, but as a tool of last resort defense for a community. In the end, Dragon Blade is less about who wins the battle and more about what survives it. The fortress may fall, but the idea it housed, that cooperation across difference is possible, is passed on. The final scene suggests this idea traveling, like a precious commodity on the Silk Road, from one person to another. It remains a fascinating, uneven experiment, a Hollywood-style historical epic, filtered through a Chinese directorial sensibility, resulting in a film that is neither fully one nor the other. This very hybridity, however, makes it a perfect subject for its own themes. Dragon Blade asks us to consider the spaces between empires. In those borderlands, it suggests identity becomes fluid and new forms of community can be imagined, however, temporarily. It is a film about building bridges, both literal and metaphorical, in a world that often only values walls. While it may not have achieved the classic status it aspired to, it stands as a heartfelt, ambitious monument to a certain kind of hope. A hope that in the exchange of goods, ideas, and even fighting techniques, we might find not just profit, but a shared language that can, against all odds, hold back the desert and the legions alike.